Hello everybody, we've made it to the end of Series 2. Who'd have thought we'd have got that far? I don't think, Tomo, you would have thought we'd have got that far.
Definitely not, no.
And
Delighted it's the end.
well, I was going to say, if you had your way, it may have ended some time ago, mightn't it? But no, we're still here. And we're going to go out and just do a little run. We're going to go do about 5 miles, aren't we, babe?
Yeah.
About 5 miles. And it's a reasonably nice day, the sun's out. So we're midway on the run. Just a chance to catch up with Tomo. Tomo, it's been an interesting series, hasn't it? We've tried to do races and we've tried to do Tomo's training. We've had an attempt at the Tissington Marathon.
Yep.
Gone.
Gone.
We've had attempts at the Silverstone Half.
Gone.
Gone. I think, was there another race in there? Gone.
Oh yeah, there was more earlier on, wasn't there?
Either way, how do you look back on the series from your running point of view? Well, there's a lot of thought that's gone into that answer there. Well done.
My running, yes, I've PB'd over 1 mile, 5k, 10k, 10 mile. Quite big PBs really, but.
And do you think that's?
Do they count?
So as we wind our way along the canal just down to my right. So let's reflect on Series 2. What are the standout moments? And I know there are quite a lot for you. So what are the standout moments for you?
There's been a lot actually. The festival was really good.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Had a really good run. Probably my favourite run was probably your birthday run.
Yes.
That was lovely.
Well, of course you had an absolute catalogue of birthday songs.
I sang all the way. If only people had seen it all.
Which is very impressive.
Yes, I think we had some good chats along the way.
Okay, thanks Tommy. And thanks for all your valuable contributions. I know that for the viewing audience, you're an integral part of CWC.
You're very welcome.
And they like your insightful and detailed feedback. Well, good morning. I'm out on a run. It's a beautiful day. I don't know if you can see the sun there. It's coming up. It's quite early. So, can you believe it? We are at the end of Series 2. It's been probably, well, we've done 13 episodes in total. We've had up to over 2,000 views on some of the episodes. We've spoken to a lot of people and had a lot of fun. We haven't done many races, but that's not been for the lack of trying. So I thought it would be good to have a little catch up and have a chat and just think about some of the guests that we've had on. So first in the series, which was probably way back in August time, we have men's captain Paul Lewis. Let's just join Paul as he talks us through the Bob Graham.
For those who don't know the Bob Graham, it's 42 specific Lake District fells, and you climb them all from the Moot Hall in the centre of Keswick, and you have 24 hours to get them all in and get back to the Moot Hall again. It's about 65 to 70 miles depending on your route choice and how good your nav is, and it's about 27,000 feet of climbing. So yeah, it's pretty full on.
Well, we then had a great interview with Carrie. Carrie took me out to the sights of Ilson and we had a good chat. Now Carrie also gave us the Festival of Running, which featured fairly heavily in another episode, and it was Carrie's a big birthday for her this year, and she had lots of plans to do ultras, which unfortunately of course didn't happen, but we had a great run out with Carrie, and she's telling me about how good Coach Tim is, of course, as did many of the guests who appeared to be coached by Tim. What has Tim got you doing in order to squeeze some seconds off that?
So I've got a mixture of speed work, hill sessions, and now I've just started doing strength training, which to be honest I've never really done before. Yeah. And
now you're just applying some strength work?
Yes.
And what does that look like?
So I've been doing squats and lunges and calf raises for the last few weeks.
Following Carrie, we had the Flying Fox. Rob Fox is a guy, legendary service to both Long Eaton and to his country, represented Great Britain in numerous events, travelling across to Dago to represent us and the country there. If you didn't join us for that catch up with Rob Fox, definitely worth doing so. He's a real inspirational character. I think on that Masters stage,
Yep.
is that what took you to Dago?
Yes, indeed, yes.
So you've represented,
Well,
the Midlands or yourself?
well, in that instance, thank you, by self-selection, by virtue of entering the event, you do represent Great Britain and Northern Ireland Masters.
So you've run for the country, we can say.
Yes, you do. I can say that.
Now, what can you say about Paul Robinson? This guy is definitely not wired like the rest of us. We took a little slight departure from our normal content and we featured Paul and his epic channel swim. I say epic, it was so epic it became a two-parter, and deservedly so.
Here is Paul bobbing around in the English Channel. Beautiful sunrise.
So you're in the water. Were there any moments that you have a tough time? You know, dark clouds on the horizon?
So the first 4 hours in the dark were not fun. You couldn't see anything, it was just disorientating.
And so what's navigating you? You're following the boat?
There's a boat alongside you with a spotlight on you, and your job's just to keep swimming as close as you can to that boat but not touching it. So you're relying totally on the pilot that you've employed in the boat.
So next up we had a great interview one summer's evening out with the person who I call the biggest running celebrity in the East Midlands, the retail magnate. Of course you know him, Rob Jeffries, owner of the Derby Runner. And I have to say, filming this, we are back in lockdown, which as a retailer like Rob is difficult. So anything you can do to support Derby Runner, he would be most appreciative. You're suggesting there that you've got a very loyal customer base?
Yeah, and perhaps even more loyal than I initially thought. We found out throughout lockdown, because after the voucher offer came and went and sort of tided us over for the first 3 or 4 weeks, as everybody knows, that we don't really have a website that is an e-commerce site. We don't sell online because we've never had to, but orders started coming in from all sorts of platforms, social media, phone call, people just knocking on the door.
So this is people who almost wanted to reach out to you to keep you ticking over?
Yeah, which was incredible.
Hi everyone, today on Coach Tim Talks I wanted to talk to you about doing a proper hamstring stretch. So I'm going to talk you through this and have a go, see what you think, see if you do it the same way as me or if you do it slightly differently. Okay, so for a hamstring stretch you want both feet pointed the same way, one leg in front of the other. You're going to put your hands on your back leg, and then your front leg you're going to keep your knee bent, and then you're just going to lean forwards with your back. You should be able to feel that stretch right in the big juicy part of your hamstring. Okay, hold it there for 20 to 30 seconds. Then we'll do the other leg. So again, one foot in front of the other, both feet pointing the same way, hand on your back leg, bend your back leg at the knee, keep your front leg slightly flexed at the knee, and then just lean forwards until you can feel it in the hamstring of the front leg, just in there. So that's my tip for how to do a really good hamstring stretch that really gets to the big juicy meaty part of the hamstring, rather than locking out your knee where you end up just feeling quite sore behind the knee. Okay, keep that knee slightly bent and you'll get a really good hamstring stretch.
Now, with all the interviews on Chat with Chant, we're trying to bring a story, telling everyone's running story. Now for the next guy, you've got to just sit back and admire the brutal honesty of what he said. I was really looking forward to a catch up with Errol Flynn. He's a guy I love his 5-year plan. He's a guy that's got some determination, and I'm backing him. I want him to do that 5-year plan and then go and do Adrian's Wall as well. So good luck, Errol. Is there anything that you would say to offer support to other people who perhaps don't feel as brave as you in terms of talking about such challenges?
Within running, all I've found is genuinely good support without it being overbearing. But if your anxiety is stopping you getting out running or to events, well, no, we're all still waiting for them to come back. Just try and get out of that door, get your kit on and get going.
And is it a case of, look, however tough it is, just try and get out?
That's what it boils down to at the end of the day, because I've never gone out when I've had to force myself out and then got to the end of the run, got to the end of the club night, got to the end of the event and felt worse. I've always felt better. Now, before running, I was on the verge of being a proper recluse.
So a great run out with Vicky Yeomans. She's another one, a little bit like Paul Robinson, crazy. When answering the question, how far do you like to do on a training run? Most people might say 5k, 10k, half marathon. I think Vicky came out with maybe 16, 18 miles, and that's just an insight into what you get with Vicky. She's also someone who can happily run 168 miles non-stop and then consider it a failure. I don't get it. Okay, so let's talk about the dark places that you can go to for free on these runs.
Well, you just very quickly get the voices in your head telling you to sit down. Stop what you're doing now you've run a marathon. Stop what you're doing now you've run 50. Turn back and go to that aid station. It's pitch black, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. And usually when that happens, it's in the middle of the night, you're on your own, you've invariably got no phone signal. So you have to talk yourself out of that place and talk yourself back into the race.
Local historian, Lurk Alumni, John Cranage took us out on a run and brought us the kind of historical tales that you want to hear, particularly one about the missing Manx of Risley, which I'm sure that most people have done that run but maybe not know the full story. So I appreciate that, Jono. Oh then, Jono, local historian, is there anything on here that you don't already know?
It's the obviously the most famous crime, Risley related crime.
What was the Risley related crime?
There was a Roman lance that was found here, a silver plate, drawings made of it and stuff, but then it was lost. And then in 1991 a fella turned up at an auction house with what he said was the lost lance, and I think it ended up in the British Museum, but it turned out to be the work of a master forger.
We then had the Festival of Running. Now, it was a great experience. We followed the runners who couldn't do the London Marathon this year, so on their virtual runs we had the likes of Tracy, Lee and Yuck all running, and we had a kind of a table for refreshments at the West Park. Now that table was hosted by Jane Hudson. I gave Jane the responsibility of looking after the camera, and would you believe it, a spin-off production was born. Hello with Hudson has been created. So I then picked up the interview with Jane, and I had a great run around the wheel with Jane talking about her running. Is that Coach Tim?
Coach Tim.
Coach Tim has got his fingers all over this running club, metaphorically.
Fingers in pies.
Is he good?
Yeah, very motivated.
Now, if you are looking for a coach, I can't get anyone to say a bad word about Tim. Jane, on the chat with Chant, I always ask three questions.
Yep.
All right. And first question to ask you is, What has been your favourite race to date?
Probably the London Marathon last year. I didn't get a spectacular time. 4:25. But I hadn't chased the time, set out to enjoy it, take in the atmosphere. It was brilliant, I loved it.
If you are into geography, and I realise this is a running podcast, but look, this is coastal erosion in action. It's like a live coastal erosion update. Look at that. That great big chunk of the path. See, I would normally run on this path and it would carry on straight down the path there, but not anymore. Back to the interviews. Now, my next interview was with Anthony Wright-Mullaney. I call Anthony a force of positivity, because rarely do you see comments where people have done something or a great achievement and Anthony has offered his words of praise, and I really like that, and it was great. And I also really wanted to have a chat with Anthony because he's someone who has overcome what was an injury that really prevented him from running. So great to hear how people have got to the other side of that journey.
It just felt like I'd like hit a hard stone on my heel. It just felt really painful and just wouldn't shift.
So at what stage then did you realise actually there's a problem here and you've got to do something about it?
It was after the second time it flared up. The first time it just kind of went away after the marathon, but the second time it proper flared up and just wouldn't go away. So, you know, when you can't put your foot down to even walk without pain, you know that you're in for a bit of a rough ride. So.
And is that what it was feeling like? You couldn't put your foot down with any confidence without feeling a load of pain?
Yes.
Okay, so the final interview of Series 2 was the music man, Jimmy Willen, the talented maestro that brought Chant with Chant, Chant runs. Anyway, I do know that Jimmy has gone back into the recording studio and been mixing around and come up with a few new tunes, so stay tuned, and you never know, there may be a new offering from Jimmy. But Jimmy told us not only was he the 16th member to join Long Eaton Running Club, but just what it means to him and how it's developed over the years.
We were a bit crazy because we were small in numbers and we knew how to drink. We were crazy.
It was a very social club.
Oh, because you're small in numbers, everybody knows each other, you know.
Yep. Okay, so there are two other people I'd like to thank. First one, Coach Tim. I was really pleased when Coach Tim said he would come and give us some hints and tips for Series 2. I think that Tim gives a bit of credibility to some of the waffle that I might give, and I think he breaks it up and offers us some really good insights. I've enjoyed hearing his hints, tips, stretches, particularly the one on the calf muscle. Did me a treat, so thanks Tim. And of course I have to pay special thanks to Tomo. Tomo, she brings a reluctant enthusiasm to the show, and despite what you might think, I think she enjoys it. She doesn't tell me that, of course. But first of all, in Series 1 and in Series 2 we have really seen her running blossom, and she's now getting times that are brilliant, and it's always fun when you're out on a run with Tomo. So Tomo, thanks for all that you offer Chat with Chant. So, and look, to all the people who've taken part and been willing to be guests, I have to say thank you very much indeed, because it's a show that relies on the guests, and it's the guests that make the show. We find out about their favourite places to run, their favourite distances, their favourite races, and I do think that everyone has a running story, so you never know, there could be a Series 3. So I mentioned an exclusive from the musical director. Some of you've heard it.
Yeah.
What do you think? Is it one of the finest pieces of music you've heard?
Run, chat with Chant. Run, chat with Chant. Get Long Eaton running.
Could this be a tune that features on Series 3? That was a nice run out actually. I'm going to say it was a little bit chilly, but Tomo will tell us it was perfect.
I'm hot.
Yeah. So we're at the end. It's the finale. Any last words from you, Tomo?
It's been fun, guys. It's been fun.
Oh, I think that's a good positive, or it's as positive as we're going to get from you, isn't it? That's a lovely way to leave it. So, listen, all that remains for us to say is, guys, enjoy your running, stay safe out there,